Good evening. My name is Jason Delisle. I'm president of the Speedway Town Council. It's 7 o'clock on April 22nd, and I call this meeting to order. We'll first start off with our Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody can please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Quick introductions here. To my right is Town Manager Grant Kleinhans.
Good evening.
Town Councilor Sarah Gardner.
Good evening.
And Town Councilor Sean Harold.
Good evening.
And to my left is our Town Attorney Bob Clutter.
Hello.
Our Clerk Treasurer Philip Faust.
Good evening.
Councilor Vince Noblet.
Good evening.
And our Vice President Nick Sturgeon.
Good evening.
All right, our first item is approval of our minutes from April 1st, our April 1st meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve our minutes from our previous meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, any questions, comments on the meetings or minutes? All right, I'll call a vote. All those in favor of approving our minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes pass. All right, our next item is presentation of a Resident Academy graduates.
Yes.
Grant.
Thank you. One of the cooler things I get to do as the town manager is hold our annual Resident Academy. It's a 5-week session held from mid-February through, we finished at the end of April, right? Yeah. No, end of March. 2 months. We had almost 35 applicants this year. Of those 35, 5 or 6 dropped out before it even started. They had other things come up, new job, family situations. I think we had 23 graduates, and tonight I was going to present them with a certificate signed by me as the town manager. But I do appreciate all of your participation. I look out and I see people that were excited to attend and like to be there and asked a lot of great questions. A couple of the reasons why we do this. Why do we do this, right? One, I want to create more and better informed residents so that they understand the day-to-day operations. 2, in many ways, we're trying to create advocates out there in the real world who are going to interact with our other residents. And I've seen many of that even over the last month, and it's been very, very cool to see that. Thirdly, we are in many ways developing a future base of leaders, whether it's being able to serve on a board or a commission, or one day running for a political office. We don't talk about politics, but we're trying to prepare them with an understanding of what the town is, how we run, why we do things, so that they can help shape the future of the community. I've enjoyed doing it. I've been a city or town manager for almost 27 years now, and I've done this about half of those in different communities, and it's always great to see their growth, right? They came in, I think many of you didn't know much, and by the end, I think we all learned a lot together. Yeah. So with that, I will shut up, and I'm gonna go ahead and call the names. And if we could just kind of assemble up here in the front, I'm gonna take a picture, and I would like to invite the council to come down. So Scott Allen, and I don't know if everyone's here. Scott is not here this evening. Max Bigelow. That's what I do. Come on up. Come on down.
Come on down.
Resident Academy. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it. Our Pacers didn't do very good last night. Let's go ahead and stand up here if you don't mind. Janet Bunch.
Come on over here.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
Todd Cunningham, I don't think I saw. Lauren Darr. Yep. Lauren. Kathleen Davis. Thank you so much. Julie Fryer.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, you're welcome. Adam Gonzalez, I didn't see here this evening. Andrew Hardig. No. Nora Hinsman? No. Brian Clown? Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Grant.
And to graduate, they had to attend 4 out of the 5, right? Isn't that what we said? So 80% got you a pass. James Long, I didn't see this evening. Greg Mowell. Janet MacArthur. Holly Polites, or I can't remember how to say it. Is Holly here? No. Mike and Holly, no. Joshua Pounds. Joshua's in the back.
Maybe. How's everything going?
Tasha Powell. Kay Richter. Daniel Sedham. Daniel was a fun guy.
And you can say Dan.
Sedham. Claire South. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaliyah Stapish.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tim Smith. Tim. And finally, Evan Wadsworth. All right, well, if the council could come down, I will go ahead and take a picture. Everybody has to smile real nice and,
Where should we stand?
well, that's great. All right, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. I'll take a second. I'm gonna have to do some real work on that to make it look good. But, well, I really appreciate your guys' participation and willingness to come, and I hope it was beneficial. And these are the graduates, of course it was beneficial. But, really and you can't apply next year, sorry. And we will mail the certificates to those who couldn't come this evening.
So Grant, quick question for you. Anyone who's interested in this, we plan on doing this again next year, is that right?
Yes, yep.
When signups for that? When
Yeah,
is that
so
for?
I think we started in the fall, around October, November, we put out the press release.
Okay.
The deadline was after the first of the year, then we made the selections, notified everyone, and we accepted everyone who applied. And then we start in February, so.
All right.
And I've had people ask me, why do you start when it's so cold? Well, if we did it in June and July, I don't think we would have had 20, 25 graduates. We would not have had that much. It's just harder during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You have to wear a coat and put some gloves on, but I think it's the best time of year to do it. So we will definitely do it again.
Just one last thing, too. I've heard only positive feedback on this program, so I just want to thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know they took a ton of time and effort to put that together, so.
Sure.
Really appreciate that.
Well, and my department heads, I know they really like doing it. They really do. If you ask them, they'll probably say, no, I don't really like doing it. But they do like doing it because they get to talk about their job. And you can see many of them geek out, and that's good.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I know there's not probably public comment, but one thing that I thought, especially when we went to the wastewater treatment plant, I thought, this should be a mandatory class for anybody that buys a house.
Sure.
That's good.
It was really, really informative.
Yeah. The wastewater plant is another reason we don't do it in June and July. That's good. Doesn't quite have the odor in February and March.
All right. Our next item is Speedway Home Helpers Report. And Anthony Ramian's going to help us out with that.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me back. I just wanted to share a quick summary of all the success we had with home helpers back on April 6th. We worked on 15 different houses this time, which was one more than last time. I actually had over 20 applications for houses to be worked on. Most of the 5 that we didn't take were they were too late, and we just didn't have time to squeeze them into the schedule. So a lot of demand this time. They must have heard about the success from the fall, so that was a big positive. I put 60 plus volunteers because just like last time, we had awesome volunteers who brought their kids or brought their friends, and it was honestly almost impossible to get a full count. So I think we were actually pushing 70, but I wasn't willing to put that on paper. It was great. So we were supported by 2 of our local businesses, which was fantastic. First was the Spark Coffee Shop over on Main Street. Jeff, the manager there, reached out to me and said, hey, what can I do to support you guys? And so anyone who wore our t-shirt there on April 6th got a free coffee. So that was fantastic. And then the manager, Madison of the Jimmy John's on Crawfordsville Road reached out to me as well, and she wanted to give us lunch. And so she provided lunch for over 60 people. All, they didn't charge us or anything. And I wanted to emphasize that both of those people reached out to us. I didn't solicit anything. I think that illustrates how great the businesses are in this town and how much they want to support Speedway. That was really inspiring and just a fantastic thing. So another very, very inspiring thing that I was really happy with and pleased with is that there were 4 homeowners who received help in the fall who actually volunteered this time, which was just incredible. One of the volunteers told me it was great to get help last time, but it was even better to give back this time. So that's pretty much the best we can hope for, I think, with this program. So that was fantastic. Had really good team leads this time. David, Michelle, Josh, the council's Vince Noblet, John, Trevor, and myself, just great team leads. They went out and scouted out the projects, had everything taken care of. Our t-shirts were printed up by a company out of Carmel called Red Stitch Creative. They were really great to work with. We were supposed to get a company to sponsor them. It kind of fell through. It wasn't anybody's fault, it just kind of happened. And so one of our volunteers just offered to take it up himself, and he's a proud citizen of McCrae Street here in Speedway, so the citizens of McCrae Street technically sponsored these t-shirts, so that was a fun little thing. Another thing was several of our volunteers took care of some stuff not on they showed up on the volunteer day, but they went above and beyond and showed up beforehand and after. Trevor, one of our team leads, was out there with one of our homeowners who had something come up for January 6th. She couldn't be there, so he went the next weekend and worked on her house. And then Michelle, one of our other team leads, she and her husband were at one of her big projects beforehand, several days, working on stuff there. So they went above and beyond. That was really great. And I wanted to give a kind of a special thanks to the Speedway United Methodist Church. Michelle, who's a member of the church there, she got a ton of people to come out from that church, including, I think, a lot of kids from the youth group. Again, I couldn't even keep count of all the kids, grabbing T-shirts and sandwiches and everything. So it was great to see so many people out from the Methodist Church there. And along with that, the Tanya Isaac Foundation made a donation to cover one of the projects. Over $100 worth of materials were donated from them. So yeah, that's all the big things, all the positives. Don't really have any negatives this time. It was great. So not that we had in the past, but it was a great day, a lot of great volunteers, and looking forward to do it again in the future. So, yeah, any questions or anything from anybody?
No, I just want to say, Sean and I showed up, and, it's always a pleasure to get involved, to help out the people that really need it. And I think, again, we had a challenging house down the street from you. And hopefully we had, I know we made a major impact on the front of the house and in the back of the house, and they really appreciated the work that was done through all the volunteers. And then we had the street department come by and pick up a lot of the debris and things, and making sure that everything stayed clean and in its place. So kudos to the street department for helping out the home helpers in Speedway.
Absolutely.
And if we can keep on growing it, I think it's one of those things that builds community, and I think that's important, that you get to know your neighbors. And, Max was there shoveling and working all the time, so, good to see him at work, doing honest work there. At least you didn't have to climb trees then, you know. No, thank you for all the time that you spent and organized this. I know that it was definitely a challenge of just, you know, making sure all the bases are covered.
Yeah, it's a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, the whole Home Helpers organization, the whole group that helps, organize the program, I think you guys just did an amazing job. I mean, from the communication, the setup, you had your team set. I know I was on John Reller's team, and he was our fearless leader, and we knew what projects we had to do, and he had assignments out. And so just the way that you guys organize it and orchestrate the whole thing is just well done. And so thank you so much, because I know there's a lot of time and effort put into it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's always fun to get out and help our neighbors.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Anthony, do
everybody.
you have a date for the fall, or will you do it in the fall, or is it still kind of up in the air?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure when the next one will be
Yeah,
yet.
okay.
We talked about maybe making it annual instead of
Okay,
biannual,
instead of-
but
yeah, okay.
we'll be sure to reach out to everybody and let
Absolutely.
everyone know.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is a proclamation designating April the month of the military child. It's very cool. I have a proclamation here that I'm just going to go ahead and read. So we have a proclamation honoring military children. Whereas the town council recognizes the invaluable contributions and sacrifices made by military families in our community. And whereas the children of our military personnel demonstrate resilience, strength, and courage in the face of unique challenges associated with military life. And whereas these young individuals play a significant role in supporting our nation's defense efforts through their unwavering support of their parents and guardians in uniform. And whereas the month of April provides an opportunity to honor and celebrate the sacrifices of military children and acknowledge their important role in our community. Whereas beyond the month of April, we continue to support and uplift these remarkable young individuals who embody the spirit of service and resilience. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Speedway Town Council does hereby proclaim April as the month of the military child in the town of Speedway. This is adopted this 22nd day of April 2024 by the Speedway Town Council. All right, our next item. This is a special event request for a hot air balloon tether, all right, let me start that again. Hot air balloon tether rides during Rockin' on Main, and a request to waive the permit fee. And John Reller is going to give us a little bit more information here.
Thank you. I got my 1926 jacket on because I've been thinking a lot about 1926. Good evening. My name's John Reller, and I'm on the board of the Speedway Indiana Community Development Corporation. We're working on planning Speedway's 2026 Centennial Celebration, and I'm here that you consider waiving the permit fee for an event planned to bring awareness to the town of Speedway's Centennial Celebration, which will be in 2026. As everyone knows, the town of Speedway derived its name from the Motor Speedway, which began operations in 1909. But did you know that the first event held at the Speedway was a balloon race? The balloon race was held to generate revenue and interest in the automobile races to be held at the Speedway. So, to generate revenue and interest in Speedway's upcoming centennial celebration, we have partnered with Midwest Balloon Rides, a Speedway-based company, to provide tethered balloon rides. This event will be part of Rockin' on Main. This May, what is that, 5 weeks from now? From 7 to 10 p.m. The balloon will be located at the Daredevil Brewing Company's South Lawn, and we will be charging $20 per rider, with proceeds going to help fund the Town of Speedway's Centennial Celebration. The Speedway Centennial Planning Committee respectfully requests that you waive the permit fee for this event and we thank you for giving us the opportunity to promote this program. I'm available if you have any questions. Thanks.
Very cool. So I think maybe we have a motion to waive the fee, and then once we have our second, then we can ask any questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve this special event request for hot air balloon tether rides during Rockin' on Main and waiving the permit fee.
I'll second.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Reller?
I got a question. How many people can fit in the actual basket at one time?
7, but I don't know if that counts the pilot or if it's 7 plus the pilot.
Okay, 7 total. Okay,
Yep.
that sounds like a good ride.
Well, I said the only way I'm voting for this is if Vince Knoblet gets a first ride.
I'll be there. I don't know who would
Hopefully
go with it.
you'll
I don't
all
think I
have to
can
stand in
talk.
line.
Yeah, I don't think I can talk Judy into it. I'll go.
Sounds very cool.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
I will say that our SCTV personnel will be meeting with John to do a promotional video
Oh,
for them to
fantastic.
promote the event. So
Right.
Great.
I assume they'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks. They'll reach out.
Yep, and we're even hoping that Indianapolis TV thinks it's kind of a neat topic to talk about, so we're going to get in front of them also.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, John.
John.
All right, so I'll call up for a quick vote for waiving the permit fee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. So waive the permit fee on that hot air balloon tether ride. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is approval of estimate from Air Source Heating and Cooling. Grant.
Yes, so these are the things that I have to bring before the council that nobody wants to have to talk about. Unfortunately, we had a compressor go out on our main air handler here at the Municipal Center. It's a fairly expensive repair at $14,500. Our contractor is Air Source Heating and Cooling. They do our general maintenance update. They provided us with this quote, and this probably represent about a 15% savings over the cost of this, so probably around $16,000 is what it normally would cost. But he's familiar with our system, he's familiar with our setup, has worked on it before. We have had over the past 3 weeks since it went out, just the extreme, hot, cold. It's been very challenging. So I recommend approval of this. We put dollars in our building maintenance account for these types of things, for repair, breakdowns. We obviously don't budget for a specific breakdown, but we do have the dollars in that building maintenance fund account to pay for these expenses. Let's just hope not a lot of things break the rest of the year, right? So.
I'll make a motion to approve the approval of the estimate from Air Source Heating and Cooling.
Second.
All right, any questions for Grant?
What's the time frame on that, Grant?
So if you approve it this evening, they will get an order in on it. He thinks within 2 weeks they'll have it installed and complete.
So before it starts getting hot out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is that on this building? Is that any of that covered under warranty?
Our warranty period expired after the first year, the first 12 months. That was the first call we made. Yep. This was a rehab system, just so you know. We did not replace our system, we just rehabbed it. That was a cost-cutting measure put into the plan for the building.
All right, thank you, Grant. If there's no other questions, call for a vote. So all those in favor of approving our estimate from Air Source Heating and Cooling, say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 5-0. Okay, our next item is ordinance 1388, which establishes a designated outdoor refreshment area, or DORA, within the town of Speedway. This is our first reading. Grant?
Yes, so Bob will also be responding to any questions that you might have or comments. I will go over generally what a DORA is, where this is planned to be, the time of operation, and some of those other elements. So this is an allowable designated outdoor refreshment area under state statute. This was state statute that I believe was put into effect about 18 months ago, and there's about 15 or 16 Indiana communities who have gone through this process designating an outdoor refreshment area. The council discussed this a couple of months ago. We've looked into it, done our research to identify Main Street as a DORA, which will allow folks during certain times of the year, and I know one of the discussions we'll have tonight is maybe extending that to cover all of the year. That will probably make enforcement easier, and the reality is in February, I doubt anybody's going to be doing it, but that's fine. So we have to identify a boundary. That boundary is shown in the Exhibit A, right? Am I getting that right? Yes, Exhibit A. There will be some changes to this map, though. One change that we will need to do is on the 1300 block building. We'll need to bump that out to the west to encompass the entire property up to the alleyway. The rest of it is remaining in force. So it basically goes from 16th Street on the north side all the way down to 10th. Basically alleyway on the west to outside of the right-of-way alleyway on the east. There's not alleys on the east side. We have also bumped out on Gilman Street down to Ford to incorporate Speedway indoor karting and Daredevil Brewing. They have outdoor entertainment areas that they typically use. So that map will be amended. We will amend that final map, clean this up, and put that on the sign. But what is a DORA? So a DORA allows for people on Main Street within these boundaries to consume alcoholic beverages that are bought from retailers that are identified in this ordinance. You will notice there are no retailers identified yet. We've spoken to 6 or 7. We will fill that out for the next time. But you can imagine all the restaurants on Main Street have shown interest. We are just trying to work through some of those details. But you can purchase a Dora beverage from there. You can walk out into the area like at a festival or a musical event. Rockin' on Main is a good example. And you can consume that beverage within the boundaries. You still have to abide by state law. You still have to be 21 to consume. You can't buy for others. I think the ordinance specifically calls out you can buy 2 of these drinks at a time, so you can't buy 15 and hand them out to whoever you wish, because you have to be carded, and that's under excise law and state law. A couple of the other points, the ordinance as written under section 17 says April 1 through October 31. I think that's probably going to be an amendment that the council will direct us to make it all year. If the ordinance is approved at the second reading on May the 13th, it will become effective immediately. We have to order signs potentially tomorrow in order to get them back in time to get those up. So we will be finalizing the map and those locations and trying to get those signs ordered. The sign and the post is going to cost about $160 a piece. We're probably going to do about 15 of these. So you're talking about $1,400, $1,500. We will take that out of our street budget, and we're going to co-locate them where they can be co-located, if that makes sense. So some of those we may not have to buy a new pole, but we do have to mark those boundaries and kind of clearly identify where those are. We'll discuss that with Rob and our police chief and try to get out there and make sure we do that correctly. There are a bunch of other laws I'm not sure I need to go into in detail here. They will have to, the vendors will have to fill out state special event permit application form 57288. We'll have to do that, I believe it's annually. So we'll have to be diligent about reaching out to those folks at the beginning of every year or by the end of the year as it expires and try to get those renewed. We believe this is a responsible way for adults to enjoy adult beverages on our Main Street, which frankly happens now. If you're ever around Speedway in May, that's what happens. Does not mean that you can do this anywhere, though. You have to do it in these designated areas. So people should not think that they can just walk down Lyndhurst drinking their beer. Mm-hmm. That is a violation of state law, and you may be pulled over or stopped for that. I'll answer any questions that you might have, but I know we vetted this with our police department. We'll continue those discussions with them. Carmen Lethig, our Economic Development Director, has been very active in meeting with the businesses on Main Street, and we think we're almost there. We just need to make some minor changes to this, hence the reason we're doing a first reading only tonight.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance number 1388, an ordinance establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area within the town of Speedway.
I'll second that.
All right, any questions for Grant?
Well, I have one more thing to point out. Philip and I have been working together on this. Philip provided a couple of points. I do want to call them out because we'll be amending the ordinance to include those. Number one is based on Indiana Code 7.1-3-31-16-2, we need to include specific warning. Possessing an open container of alcoholic beverages is a Class C infraction. That will probably be put in the ordinance and probably even appear on the bottom of the sign. I need to verify that with Bob. The boundaries on the sign, we'll make sure they're clear. Philip pointed out a couple of inconsistencies. I agreed with that. We'll make those changes. It's the way I described them to you at the beginning is the way that we will make that. The other thing that in the ordinance it does call out, patrons cannot carry Dora beverages from one Dora establishment into another. We are not going to include that in our ordinance. It is up to the individual retailers to decide if they want other places' beverages to be brought into their facilities. They have some concerns about their liquor licenses, and so I think we're going to either remove that part or amend that part. That's really up to them. So with that, I'll take any questions, as will Bob.
Yeah, do you have?
No, go ahead.
I had a couple comments, a couple questions. So one, this effectively removes the need to have beer gardens as we've had previously on Main Street, right?
Yes. Yep.
So just, for those asking what is a Dora, that's, previously we've had something similar to this on Main Street, but we've had to rope or fence out areas that allow alcoholic beverages. This removes the need to do that. There still are some rules that apply, but those will be spelled out on the signage. One other thing, too, we reserve the right to amend this at any time, too. So if we feel like this isn't serving the needs of the town, we can make an amendment or get rid of it completely whenever we need to.
The council has the authority to amend any ordinance that's been previously adopted, or do away with, or strengthen, or et cetera.
And then, so one question I had, too, I was just kind of looking at this map, and I know we've kind of gone through some different iterations, but I'm wondering if perhaps we should have a little bump out where Foy is, just to encompass their
Wait, winery?
Parking area. I know they haven't traditionally done events in their parking area, but I wonder if we should basically just include that whole property within the map, just a thought.
Okay.
And then another item that was mentioned in here, see if I can find the exact wording. Open containers must be in a plastic cup no larger than 16 ounces. So it doesn't specifically say that it needs to be a Dora marked cup. And I know we've had a little bit of a debate internally. So I guess that's something that we probably need to decide. Do we want to make sure everybody has a Dora designated cup, or do we feel it's okay that it's in a plastic, plastic container? So I guess that's something we'll decide and make sure that that's included in the next reading.
Yeah, I guess to that point, if the businesses have a thought or feeling on that, because I don't necessarily, be too overly prescriptive on this going out, just, even though we have the ability to go back and tune this later on, but if, the businesses have said, no, we want to have our own plastic cups, then, okay, let's, to get the participation, fine, I guess I'm okay with that too, but, just, kind of looking and seeking their feedback and what they would prefer on that topic.
And to be clear, you cannot bring in your own alcohol into the door.
That the law is very clear on that.
So you cannot bring your own alcohol in a plastic cup, and that's why it matters, the decision on what type of cup that we're talking
The
about.
purpose of this is to support our businesses on Main Street, requiring that the alcohol be be bought from those businesses, right? It's an economic tool to really help improve that aspect in our community.
Though the town will see some savings and because of the barricades.
Yeah, we
taken
don't
up
have
and
to set
down.
up a
Yeah.
beer garden, which
Yeah.
we have to pay security and buy barricades and do some other things.
I think then what we're going to have to do a little due diligence in terms of having coolers brought in. You're talking about race time. People are carrying coolers around that, they're going to bring it in. If they're not aware of it, I think we ought to need to really make them aware that they can't bring in, a six-pack cooler or whatever.
You can still take your cooler into IMS if they allow it, right?
Yeah, well, that's,
Or drink it in the campgrounds, I assume, as people are camping around.
Right.
But, yeah.
It's a little bit different on Main Street. Another thing and point I want to make is that this is not the first DORA involved in it. It's been a couple of years since the original one came into play. And I think where we have outside events, and in fact, always on Rockin' on Main, we have bands playing there and other events during the year. We got show cars on Main Street, and it's important that we show those visitors a good time in relationship to it, make it easy for them to walk around and see and listen to those bands playing and things like that. But yet do it in a safe way, and also it allows too, as far as cleanup is concerned, it gets the more participation from the businesses that they help clean up outside on the street, pick up any trash and stuff like that that is being generated.
All right. So since first reading, no vote needed, but any other questions?
Yeah.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad I said that.
Because if it doesn't move forward, it would die.
Yes.
And it would just fail. So it always has to have, yes.
All right. So, well, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. So,
When you talk about boundaries, can you go to the north end and buy a drink and go down all the way to the south end and drink that without being?
As long as you're within that boundary that we've identified, yes.
Well, how are they going to monitor where you get your drink and so forth?
I don't think it
That
matters.
makes a difference?
Yeah, no. If it's in a cup that's identified, a plastic cup, then where you bought it is really immaterial if you've walked down the street and you're drinking it down there.
So if I go down on Main Street with a red cup and have a mixed drink, I won't be able to drink it down there because it's not.
we're still working on the ordinance. This is the first reading, so we're going to iron some of that out. And I'll just say, too, I really appreciate your, being involved in the meeting tonight, but we typically don't have public comments in our meeting. So if you would like to make a comment, just speak with one of us before the meeting, and we can discuss with you, and we can yield some of our time to you if you want to make a comment. So again, I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I do appreciate your involvement in the meeting, but those are the rules of the town council meetings. Okay, so any other questions, comments on this ordinance? So I'll call for a vote. So all those in favor of approving ordinance 1388, which establishes a designated outdoor refreshment area within the town of Speedway, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0.
So the second reading, after we've made the final corrections and details, will be on your May 13th council agenda.
All right, our next item is approval of claims and utility adjustments. Philip.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have requests for both for you this evening. The report dates span March 28, 2024 to April 17, 2024. The adjustments are on 3 different pages, and it's for a total of 6 customers. And the claims total $1,749,424.76.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims and utility adjustments as presented by our clerk treasurer.
I'll second.
You haven't covered the utility adjustments. Do you want to go through the utility adjustments before we
sorry.
vote? Or do you want to just do the claims?
Sorry, I
No, that's okay.
got ahead.
No, that's okay.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Philip.
You want to just, let's just do you want to do another motion just for the claims?
No, I will rescind my motion and let Philip
Okay.
finish.
Actually, I did reference the adjustments already, so I think you were.
Okay, so, yeah, sorry.
Oh,
I thought.
Yeah, so if the motion
We'll
can be.
get this down one day. Then I will make another motion to approve our claims and utility adjustments.
All right.
I
We'll get
will
it.
second.
We'll get it right one of these days.
Like we're new.
All right. All those in favor of approving our claims and utility adjustments as presented, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Okay, our next item is a report from Town Manager Grant.
Yes, I just have two items. One is there is a cleanup day this Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. here in the town of Speedway. The Solid Waste Commission is sponsoring that, as well as Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. We did apply for grant funding from them for trash bags, materials, vests, etc. But that event will be from 9 to 11. Teams are encouraged to show up of volunteers. Once they show up, they will be assigned a street, 5 or 6 blocks to clean. Those trash bags will be left at the side of the road and collected either on Saturday or Monday, depending on what's going on this weekend. But great event, good opportunity to get out and clean up. I know the town will have a team. I think we have about 10 people that are showing up, so looking forward to that, working together and going from there. I will be attending an Indiana Municipal Management Conference the end of this week. I leave Wednesday afternoon. It's just in fabulous Muncie, Indiana. So I'll be up there for a day and a half, just hobnobbing with other city and town managers from across Indiana, learning any number of matters. Once I'm done with it, I'll send you guys a report with the 8 or 10 things that we discussed and that I learned. So if you need to reach me, feel free to call. No difference. I'll step out and take. I don't have a backup, so it's me. You got to call me or email me. I'll figure out how to get it done. It's good. Thank you. That's all I've got tonight.
All right. Thank you, Grant. Report from other council members. We'll start with Councilor Sarah Gardner.
Yes, thank you. I don't have much tonight. The first thing that I was thinking about that I just wanted to share, again, it's another police story. So me and the police are just becoming very close. So no, just a thank you to our police. You guys know how awesome they are and how responsive, but there was an issue just yesterday in the park and made a quick call, just a non-emergency call, and they were there in 3 minutes, 4 police officers, and it's just like, again, just makes you feel good about why you live here and keeping our town safe and keeping our kids safe and keeping our parks safe. And so I'm just very thankful for our own police force and how they take things, again, not a huge emergency, nothing was of dire straits, but they dealt with it as it was, because again, it's just what we want our town to be known for, that they're quick, they're responsive, and I just really appreciate that. I know as a resident, I do, and just thankful for that. And then the other thing I was thinking, again, just with all the summer camps coming up, school's going to be out as soon as we know it, which is crazy to think. So I was thinking about the summer parks department. They have amazing camps for kids. So get on the website, sign them up. It's super inexpensive. They have every different sports. The schools just also share their camps as well. And so great resources to take advantage of. So just put your eyeballs on that if you have kids or grandkids and just get them involved and included in those. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilor Sean Harold.
Yeah, and to piggyback on the camps program, I know Tammy Smith and I believe Chuck Bennett, they've spent a lot of time really balancing the schedules to make sure that if you have kids in different age groups that they're able to attend multiple
yeah.
camps this year, which is greatly appreciated. I have 4 kids, and so balancing that is very much appreciated. So thank you to them. For the Resident Academy graduates, congratulations. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to, I guess, several days to attend those sessions. Getting involved in the town is so very important, and I think it's how each and every one of us has gotten started in some way or another, whether it be residential academy or being on boards or commissions or all of those sorts of things. And we just need good people to get involved and really give back to the community. So thank you for that. And again, Anthony, just thank you for everything you do with the Home Helpers. Great event. Really looking forward to the fall already, and I was able to get my son out there. He was one of the Speedway United Methodist Church youth group kids, and it was really cool to see them out there, giving back to the community as well. So that's all that I've got for tonight.
All right, thank you. Counselor Vince Noblet.
I just have a few things. This is a season for grass growing, and we're getting like 6 inches of rain in April. And I know the wind hadn't died down. It's been blowing in all these storms. But I think it's important that, our town has prided itself with taking care of your yards. And I know some neighbors might be elderly and can't really get out there. So just go over and cut their yard, and give them a hand, and we get through this heavy growing period at that point in time. And I think the street department is picking up yard waste now, correct? So anything, set those bags out by the curb, and so that we can take care of them and keep your yard and looking good, especially as moving into the month of May. I think it's another opportunity that, again, people in the town can go out and help the town take care of those trashy areas that, as we go through up and down like Poco Street, it tends to collect, and also up and down the B&O Trail. A lot of people throwing cups and things out there, out of just when they're done with them, they can't seem to find a trash can when you need them. But those things are all important, and I think it reflects on the quality of our town and the quality of individuals in our town and keeping it clean. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And Vice President Nick Sturgeon.
Well, can't believe it's going to be May here very soon, and with the mini kicking off, on the 4th?
May 4th.
So it'll be around before we know it, and just kind of for the folks of the town, we'll have some traffic restrictions for the mini, but also I'm going to hopefully don't spoil the beans, and Dr. Treboy get mad at me, but the school board was recognized by the Indiana School Board Association for the award of Exemplary Governance Award here recently. So I think just very proud of them and their leadership and what they do for our school system. So a round of applause to them. But other than that, just ready to kick off the month of May and all the goodness that comes around with that.
All right, sounds good. Nothing else for me. So our 7th meeting of 2024 is adjourned at 7:49.
Time flies.